I'm the kind of person who color codes bills and keeps a running spreadsheet of our real monthly costs: mortgage, utilities, groceries, insurance, the boring stuff. I always told myself that if you're disciplined, money doesn't have to be scary. It's just math and choices. That was my whole personality for years. Calm, practical, responsible. My wife, Jenna, teased me about it. "You and your little charts," she'd say, kissing my cheek while I compared interest rates. She handled the softer parts of life: family birthdays, social plans, making our house feel like a home. I handled the numbers. So when I uploaded a video without editing and it hit millions of views, my first reaction wasn't excitement. It was mild annoyance, because the video wasn't supposed to be public at all. It was meant for my brother, Mark. Private clip. Proof that the old vending machine I'd bought cheap at an auction was fixable. I'd filmed myself in the garage, talking through the repairs like a tutorial. How to unjam the coin mechanism, how to reset the board, how to tell if it's the motor or the spiral. I was sweaty, in a stained t-shirt, rambling like an idiot, holding my phone too close, zooming in and out. I posted it to my small side hustle channel by mistake. I realized it about 20 minutes later, when my phone started vibrating like it was possessed. At first I thought it was a glitch. Notifications stacked up so fast I couldn't even read them. "Dude, this is oddly soothing," one comment said. Another, "This is the most honest repair video I've ever seen." I watched it back, mortified. No intro, no music, no cuts, just me talking to myself and occasionally swearing under my breath. And then I saw the part that made my stomach drop. When I turned to grab a screwdriver, the camera panned across my workbench. Right there, in the background, was a pile of mail, open envelopes, some with the return address of our mortgage company, some from a hospital, and a thick white letter with bold black text that said "Final Notice." I could see our last name. I could see our address. I took the video down immediately, but it didn't matter. People had already screen recorded it, reposted it, clipped it, stitched it. Someone slowed it down and zoomed in like it was a crime documentary. Jenna came home from work and found me pale-faced, refreshing the page like a lunatic. "What happened?" she asked. "My stupid video went viral," I said. Like that explained why I looked like I'd seen a ghost. She leaned over my shoulder, watched 30 seconds, and laughed. "Babe, this is actually kind of great." I didn't laugh back. "People can see our mail." She shrugged. "So, it's not like we're famous." By midnight, the reposts had crossed 1 million views. The next morning, Jenna was the one who woke up energized. She had her phone out, scrolling like she'd discovered buried treasure. "Look," she said, pushing the screen into my face. "People are asking for more. They want a series. They're saying you're the Bob Ross of vending machines." I made coffee, trying to keep my voice even. "I don't want our address floating around the internet." "It's already out there," she said, too casually. "We'll deal with it." But, do you know what this could mean? I already knew what she meant. Monetization, sponsorships, affiliate links. The side hustle I'd kept as a quiet little project could become real money. I should have felt excited. Instead, I felt exposed, like I'd accidentally walked outside in my underwear and the neighborhood had applauded. Jenna kept going. We could finally get ahead. Like really ahead. No more just make it to payday. That phrase, make it to payday, hit me wrong. Because I didn't think that's where we were. We weren't rich, but we were stable. 2 incomes. 1 kid in community college. We weren't drowning. That's when I noticed something else. Jenna's tone wasn't just hopeful. It was urgent. I said, carefully, "Are we not okay?" She blinked fast, smiled too wide. "We're okay. I'm just saying, if this is an opportunity, we should take it." I nodded, calm on the outside, but my brain was already running numbers. And an ugly little question started tapping at the back of my skull. Why does she sound like we're desperate? A week later, the channel had exploded. People followed me from the reposts, and every time I uploaded, even a 2-minute clip of me cleaning rust, thousands of views poured in. Jenna became my unofficial manager overnight. She made a spreadsheet of brand emails. She started talking about lighting kits and microphones. She asked if we could write off a new laptop as a business expense. She said words like engagement and conversion, like she'd been waiting her whole life to say them. I kept telling myself it was fine. I'd always wanted the side hustle to help with retirement. Maybe pay for our son's last year of school. Maybe replace our ancient HVAC. Then a letter came in the mail from our bank. Thank you for opening your new credit card account. I stared at it like it was a prank. I hadn't opened a new credit card. I logged into our bank portal. There it was, a new line of credit. My name on it. A balance already sitting at $4,892. I called Jenna into the kitchen. I kept my voice low, like I was defusing a bomb. Did you open a credit card? Her face did something quick, like a twitch before she smoothed it over. Oh, that. What do you mean, oh, that? She slid into the chair, suddenly tired. I was going to tell you. I just needed to handle something. Temporary. In my name, I asked. She looked down at her hands. It was easier. Your credit score is better. My calm started cracking around the edges. Handle what? She inhaled like it hurt. My brother, Jenna's brother, Kyle, was the kind of guy who was always between opportunities. He'd bounced from job to job and always had a story about a manager who didn't appreciate him, a company that promised him a promotion, a buddy who screwed him on a business deal. I didn't love him, but I tolerated him for Jenna's sake. He got in trouble, she said, staring at the tabletop. Like, real trouble. Legal trouble? I asked. No, she whispered. Crypto. I actually laughed once, sharp and disbelieving. Crypto is not trouble. Crypto is internet money. She flinched. He borrowed money from people. He thought he could flip it, and then it crashed. He owes them, and they're not nice. How much? I asked. She hesitated. Jenna, 42,000, she said, and it felt like the room tilted. My throat went dry. And you thought, opening a credit card in my name. It was just to buy time, she said quickly. He needed to pay off the worst ones. Then he'd refinance with a personal loan. Then he'd pay us back. He promised. I pinched the bridge of my nose, trying to stay measured. We don't have 42,000. We will, she said, and her eyes flicked toward my phone on the counter, where another notification popped up. Video hit 2. 3M views. That was twist number 1. The stable life I thought I was managing was already being gambled. Quietly behind my back with my name attached. I didn't explode. That's the thing. I wanted to. I could feel something hot rising in my chest. But I'd built my whole identity on being the reasonable one. So I said, okay, we're going to fix this. Together. But it stops now. Jenna nodded so fast it looked like relief. It stops. I swear. We spent that night going through accounts. Or at least I thought we did. She sat next to me on the couch, handing me logins, answering questions, wiping tears when I got quiet. The numbers were worse than she admitted. The $4,892 credit card was just one. There was another store card. Personal loan I didn't recognize. 2 buy now, pay later plans. Everything under my name scattered like landmines. Her explanation was always the same. Kyle. Pressure. Fear. Love. By the end of the week, we'd made a plan. I'd take the channel seriously, monetize everything, post consistently. Jenna would negotiate sponsorships. Every dollar would go to digging out. It felt disgusting, turning my accidental fame into a debt shovel. But it also felt like control returning. Math and choices. When YouTube finally approved monetization and the first payout estimate showed on the dashboard, Jenna squealed. We're doing it. We're actually doing it. I stared at the number like it was fake. And then, without thinking, I clicked into the payment settings. The bank account listed for deposits wasn't our joint checking. It was an account I'd never seen before. I didn't say anything right away. I just clicked. Routing number. Account number. A bank name I didn't recognize. And the account nickname, House Fund. My pulse thudded in my ears. Jenna came into the office holding 2 bowls of microwaved mac and cheese like it was a normal night. "What's up?" she asked, catching my face. I kept my voice calm, even though I could feel my hands shaking. "What account is this?" She set the bowls down slowly. "Oh, that's nothing. It's where the channel money is going," I said. She tried to laugh. "Well, yeah, I set it up, so it doesn't get mixed up with regular money. For taxes and stuff." "Why wasn't I involved?" I asked. "Because you hate paperwork," she said quickly. "And you were stressed. I was trying to help." I stared at her, feeling the way you feel when you realize you've been trusting a map that's been drawn wrong on purpose. "Log into it," I said. Her shoulders tensed. "I don't have the login on me." "On your phone," I said, still even. "Right now." This was twist number 2. The money I thought would save us had been quietly rerouted before the first dollar ever hit our hands. Jenna didn't refuse, not exactly. She just stalled. Asked why I was attacking her. Said I didn't trust her. Said she was doing everything for the family. And here's the part one hate admitting. I almost backed down, because I wanted it to be innocent. I wanted the explanation to be boring. But the numbers in my head kept running. Debts I didn't approve, credit lines in my name, Kyle's crypto trouble, and now a secret account labeled house fund. I took her phone from her hand gently, like I was handling a fragile object. She let me. That scared me more than if she'd fought. I found the banking app after a minute. The login was saved. Face ID didn't work because it wasn't her face anymore. She'd changed the settings, but the password was in her Notes app, under something called Vacation Ideas. I got in. The balance wasn't just a little. It was $28,614. My mouth went dry. Where did this come from? Jenna's eyes filled immediately. It's complicated. I scrolled through deposits. Not just YouTube. There were transfers from our joint account. Small amounts at first, then bigger. And one deposit that made my vision blur. $15,000 labeled HELOC disbursement. Home equity line of credit. Against our house. In my name. I sat back so hard the chair bumped the wall. I didn't even know we had a HELOC. I felt weirdly detached, like my brain couldn't accept it. I heard my own voice as if it belonged to someone else. "You took out a line of credit on our house." Jenna started talking fast. "It's not like that. It's not. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I was trying to keep us safe." "Safe from what?" I asked. Her eyes flicked away. "Kyle said if he didn't pay, they'd..." I stood up, suddenly not calm at all. "Jenna, stop saying Kyle like it's a magic word that makes crimes okay." She flinched like I'd slapped her. I turned the phone toward her. "What is this money actually for? Because if it's for Kyle, why is it called house fund?" She swallowed. Because it's supposed to be for us. Eventually." "Eventually," I repeated. "After you gamble our house?" "It wasn't a gamble," she whispered. "I had a plan." Her plan, it turned out, was to pay off the ugliest debts quietly, use the viral channel income to replenish the secret account, and then, this is the part that made me dizzy, put a down payment on a small duplex. "A rental," she said, tears sliding down her cheeks. "Passive income. So we're not trapped forever. So if something happens..." "What happens?" I asked. She didn't answer. In that moment, I realized she'd been living in a different reality than me. A reality where money was always about catastrophe just around the corner. And I didn't know why. I did what I always do when things feel unreal. I chased paperwork. The next day, I called the bank. Calm voice, clenched jaw. I confirmed the HELOC. Opened 6 months ago. Signed digitally. The email on file wasn't mine. I confronted Jenna again, and this time I didn't let the conversation drift into feelings. "You forged my signature," I said. She shook her head hard. "No, you signed it." "I did not." She grabbed a folder from the kitchen drawer, one I'd never noticed because it sat under coupons and takeout menus. Inside were printouts of documents. My name, our address, pages of disclosures. She flipped to the signature page and tapped it with her finger. "You signed." Right there. I stared at it. The signature looked like mine in a lazy hurry. My skin went cold. Then I remembered. 6 months ago, Jenna had handed me her tablet while I was making dinner and said, "Can you sign this for the HOA? It's just a dumb acknowledgement." I didn't read it. I scribbled my name with a greasy finger while pasta boiled over. That was twist number 3. I hadn't been fully innocent. My responsible calm was, in part, laziness. I trusted her with paperwork because it was easier than paying attention. I sat down on the edge of the couch, feeling something in me shift. Not just anger at her, anger at myself. We had a fight that didn't sound like yelling, but felt worse. It was all low voices and sharp sentences and long silences where you can hear the refrigerator hum. Jenna finally said, "Do you want to know the real reason?" "Yes," I said. My voice sounded steady, but my insides were buzzing. She wiped her face with the heel of her hand. "It's not just Kyle. It's my mom." That made no sense at first. Her mom lived alone in Florida and mostly called to complain about her neighbors. "She's not okay," Jenna said. "She's been calling me crying, saying she can't afford her insurance, her prescriptions. Her rent went up. She told me not to tell you because you'd judge her." I felt my anger twist into something else. Confusion, pity, dread. "So you took out a HELOC for your mom?" "For her and Kyle," Jenna said. Like stacking disasters in a neat pile made it less insane. "I thought I could handle it. I thought I could fix it before you noticed." I exhaled slowly. This was bad, but it was at least a story that sounded like love instead of theft. I told her, "Okay, we stopped the bleeding. We close accounts. We put everything in one place. No more secrets." She nodded, sobbing, and for the first time in weeks I thought, this is the bottom. Now we climb out. That was the false resolution. I didn't realize it yet, but I was about to learn how deep the hole actually was. For a month, we lived like monks. No dining out, no new clothes. Every cent from the channel went straight into debt payments. The channel kept growing. People started calling me Garage Dad. A vending machine company sent me free parts. Someone offered a sponsorship that paid more than my first car cost. On paper, it was working. Our credit card balances dropped. Collections calls stopped. I even started to breathe again. Then I got a letter from the IRS. Not a scary raid letter. A bland, official envelope informing me that my income didn't match what had been reported and that my return had been flagged for review. I felt my stomach sink so hard it was like missing a step on stairs. I logged into the YouTube dashboard, then into the payment account, the secret house fund. I checked the tax forms. There were 2 taxpayer IDs connected to the channel. One was mine, the other wasn't. It belonged to a business entity, a small LLC, registered in our state, with a name I recognized immediately because I'd heard it in Jenna's excited late-night planning. Second Step Properties. The duplex idea wasn't an idea. It was already a company, and it wasn't registered to both of us. It was registered to Jenna and Kyle. When I confronted her, she didn't even try to deny it. "I had to protect it," she said, voice trembling but stubborn. "If it was in both our names, you would have shut it down. You would have said it was too risky." "It is risky," I said. "We have a HELOC. We have debt. We have an IRS letter. We have momentum," she snapped. "For once in our lives, we have a way out. Kyle is on the LLC," I said, and I could barely get the words out without choking on them. "Why is Kyle on it?" She looked away. "Because he needed income on paper to qualify for something." "Qualify for what?" I asked. She didn't answer fast enough. I grabbed her laptop and searched the email. The threads weren't even hidden well, just buried under brand deals and receipts. I found it. A mortgage pre-approval email for a duplex, already under contract. Purchase price, $410,000. Down payment, $82,000. I stared at the number like it was a hallucination. "We don't have $82,000. Jenna's voice came out small. "We will." "With what?" I asked. "The channel money? The HELOC? More credit in my name?" Her eyes were glassy. It's an investment. People do this all the time. That was twist number 4. The viral money hadn't just been used to patch over a crisis. It had become the fuel for a bigger gamble I never agreed to, tied to my identity and my house like a chain. I wish I could say I left immediately, that I grabbed my dignity and my spreadsheets and walked out like a man in control. But here's the truth that still makes me feel sick. Part of me wanted it to work. I imagined the duplex, 2 tenants paying rent, passive income, a safety net. I imagined people online calling me a success story. I imagined the channel funding our future and making me look like a genius instead of a guy who accidentally went viral with unedited mail in the background. So I did something I'll regret forever. I delayed. I told Jenna we needed to slow down, but I didn't shut it down. And then the final unraveling came from the stupidest place, the original unedited video. A reporter emailed me. Local news. They wanted to do a feel-good segment about my unexpected success. I almost deleted it without reading, but the subject line stopped me. Question about the hospital notice in your viral clip. My chest tightened. The hospital letter in the video, the one I'd assumed was an old thing, some billing mix-up, had been zoomed in on by viewers. Someone had recognized the hospital logo. Someone had commented that it looked like a collections notice. The reporter said, politely, "Is it true you had medical debt? We'd love to talk about how you overcame." Medical debt. I hadn't had medical debt. Unless it wasn't mine. I went back to the secret account statements and searched the transfers. There were repeated payments to a cardiology group. Pharmacy. A medical billing service. I called Jenna's mom myself. She answered cheerful like nothing was wrong. And when I asked about her medical bills, she went quiet. "Honey," she said softly, "Jenna told me you knew." I sat in my car outside a grocery store parking lot with my hands on the steering wheel, listening to Jenna's mom explain, through sniffles, that Jenna hadn't been helping a little. She'd been paying almost everything for 2 years. Rent increases, medication, an old credit card her mom had maxed out after her husband died. And when Jenna ran out of room, she'd started moving payments around like shells in a street game. Then her mom said the part that made me feel like my insides turned to ice. And she told me Kyle wasn't the only one she had to save. Her mom whispered. She said you'd never forgive her if you knew what happened with your dad's money. My dad's money. My dad died 3 years ago. Not rich, but he left me a small inheritance. Enough to pad retirement. I'd been careful with it. Proud of it. I thought it was still sitting where I put it. I drove home in a kind of tunnel vision. I didn't yell. I didn't slam doors. I went straight to the file cabinet where I kept the statements. I logged in. I checked the balance. The account was nearly empty. Not mark it down empty. Not oops fees empty. Withdrawn. Transferred. Closed. I found the old transfer confirmations, buried in my email. Some of them were authorized from my login late at night from our home IP address. Because Jenna knew my passwords. Because I reused them. Because I trusted her like trust was a substitute for attention. When I confronted her, she didn't scream. She didn't even cry at first. She just looked exhausted, like a runner who'd finally stopped moving. "I was going to put it back," she whispered. "With what?" I asked, and my voice cracked for the first time. "The duplex? The YouTube checks? Another loan in my name?" She started crying then, ugly and gasping. "I didn't want you to carry it," she sobbed. "Your mom always stressed about money, your dad worked himself into the ground, and I thought I could be the one who fixed it. I thought if I could just get us ahead, you'd never have to feel that panic." I stared at her, and something permanent shifted in me. Not just my understanding of her, but my understanding of myself. Because I saw it. My calm, my spreadsheets, my control. It had been a costume. I didn't manage money because I was wise. I managed it because fear ran my life, and Jenna had been feeding that fear in secret, convinced she could outsmart it. And the most brutal part is that the viral video, the unedited, accidental one, didn't just make us money. It exposed us. Not in a privacy-invaded way. In a truth way. It showed the pile of overdue notices I hadn't looked at closely. It showed the cracks I'd ignored because I wanted stability to be real. It turned my garage into a stage and my finances into a spotlight. Now the channel still gets views. The money still comes in, technically. Sponsors still email. People still tell me I inspire them. But I can't touch the notifications without feeling nauseous. Because every time someone comments, "Love how real you are," I think about how the most real thing I ever posted was the part one didn't mean to show. The evidence that my life was already being spent like currency, quietly, by the person I trusted most. I moved my direct deposit to my own account. I froze my credit. I hired a lawyer. I told my son the truth in pieces, trying not to shatter him. Jenna is sleeping in the guest room, and we speak like coworkers in a crisis. And I keep replaying the moment she handed me that tablet and said, "Sign this real quick." I was so proud of being responsible. Turns out I was just calm while someone else did the spending.